Okay, hello. Hopefully I'm down here. You can see me. Hello. I'll stand up in a minute. In fact, I'm going to stand up now because knees at my age ain't going to stay like this long. So, hello, and you won't be able to see my face in a minute, which is probably not a bad thing. Okay, I'm going to do a bit of an update on my live rig. I did a few videos last year on it. I've not done one this year. The last one I did had, it was when I changed from my Electribe. I'm going to come down here because I feel weird otherwise. I changed from my Electribe to the Deluge, and I think the last live rig I had the Deluge. I had a little mixer with me and the TB03. I've kind of changed it slightly, and the way I play live has changed because I'm sort of doing a lot more drumming and using some drum pads now. So I did a gig last night, so everything's kind of packed away. So I thought this is a great chance to just sort of set everything up and show you how I set everything up. It's pretty quick. When I get to a gig, it probably takes me 5 minutes just to set up, maximum 10. So I'm going to go through that now. It'll probably take a little bit longer than that for now because I'm going to explain how it's all connected together, and hopefully it's of some interest to people. So what I take with me to a gig is I have this bag. I have this, which is a guitar pedal board, and a standard not a music stand, a standard keyboard stand. So this is pretty light. The bag gets heavy-ish because I've got drum pads and a stand in there and a few other bits and bobs, but that just goes on my back, and I carry these too. So dead portable, which is not a problem because very often you can't kind of unload or park near a venue, particularly if you're playing like little pubs and stuff, so it's not too bad to carry too far. Right, so let's get setting up. So first thing we're going to do, let's just get the keyboard stand set up. Alright, so I'm going to stick that there for now, and I'm just going to put that on there. So from the bag, I've got some crap in here I need to get rid of. Don't need those. Right, first we're going to start off with then is this stand. So this is just a standard, it's actually kind of a half a cymbal stand and half a snare drum stand. So the top bit is what would normally be used for a snare drum on a drum kit, just so I've got more height, because obviously I stand for playing my live sets. I've kind of got the bottom half of a ride cymbal stand or cymbal stand, just to give me that height. So that's positioned there, and then what goes on there, out of the magic bag of tricks, is the Roland drum pads. This is the SPDS. This is kind of getting a bit old now. I would like to upgrade to the new version, but hey, too expensive. But Roland, if you want to send me one for free, and I'll do a lovely review on it, and I'll play live with it, feel free to do so. It'd be much appreciated. So that goes on the stand. We just tighten that up. And what I'm going to do in this video is just kind of just show you how I set everything up. I'll do part 2, which I'll just sort of explain the connections and go through a few of the tracks as to how I actually perform them live. And then I will record my current live set that's about 30-35 minutes, and I'll stick all those up over the next few days, hopefully. Right, so we've got that on there. What we're going to do here is just take the lid off this. Get rid of that. And hopefully on this camera over here, hello, you'll kind of get a bit more of a closer view. Let me have a look. Let's just angle that a little bit more so you can see a little bit closer from there. Right. So to make life simple when I get to a venue, all my cables, because I have to unplug everything from the hardware, I've got everything labelled. So obviously a plug, I'm not going to do a half-hour tutorial on what this does, because I think you might know, but if you don't, sorry, if you don't, that goes in the wall and it gives power. Okay. Right, so first thing we do is we're just going to get the TB03 and just angle that up a little bit there, and I get my connections. So this is one of the outputs. Normally I'll take a stereo output from the Deluge. I've just got one at the moment. So this is just coming out the left for a mono. So there would normally be 2 of those. That's going to go to the PA at the venue or the DI box into the PA, whatever it works. So that's all the sound is going to come out there. I'm not going to plug that in for now, it's going to leave that there. Okay. So this one labelled, which has got a MIDI cable going to TB3 in. Got a USB, which is giving power to the TB03, so that's just going in there. And then I've got this little bank of plugs here. And all this is basically it's just a standard guitar pedal board made by Stag. I think it cost me about 35 quid and it works really nicely for this. These are just secured down with Velcro, so they aren't going anywhere and that. So it's all nice and secure. We've got the audio output from the TB03, which is going through there, and I'll talk about what all these do in a second, or in a different video, I've not decided yet. We've got the audio going into the TB03, so this is TB03 in. So we stick that in there. This says TB03 out. Okay, so that's a MIDI cable out from there, and then we've got a few left. Got a couple down here. So we've got this one going to the SPDS in, and then this one should say SPDS out. Okay, and then obviously we would power up the SPDS, just plug that in. That will either go into, I've got a spare socket in the bank here, the power for that will either go into there or will go into a separate plug socket, and that's it. I'm set up. I mean, I don't know how long that was, but that was pretty damn quick. So all I've got to do is turn these on and basically we're good to go. So that's actually quite a short video, so I think what I'll do is I'll just plug everything in, I'll get it all powered up and get the sound going, and I'll carry on in this video and just explain a little bit more sort of how I play live. So I'm going to get all that set up and I'll be back with you in a second. Okay, welcome back. So all I've done since the last section of the video, which was like 2 seconds for you and it was a few minutes for me, ooh, weird time travel stuff, is I've plugged this into the mains and the SPDS into the mains, and I've turned them on, basically. I've just brought the cameras in a little bit closer, so hopefully you can see a little bit closer what gear we've got, what's happening. So we've got the Deluge, which is kind of like the main centre, the brain of everything. This has got all the songs in. Yeah, still the best. I mean, I've had this a year now. It is without doubt still the best bit of kit I've ever bought. And can't wait for the new update coming up in a few months' time with the looper, because that's going to give a whole new other aspect for playing live. But anyway, we'll shut up about that for now. So we've got that. We've got the TB03, and then we've got the Uno synth from IK Multimedia, a little analog synth, which I think is brilliant. It sounds amazing. I know people say it looks a bit plasticky or whatever, but I mean, I think I picked this one up for about 150 quid for an analog mono synth, and it sounds fat as. Yes, it's good. And then we've got the drum pads. So just in terms of sort of connections, how everything's sort of talking to each other. We've got the MIDI, the main MIDI out from the Deluge is going to the MIDI in of the TB03, because that's sending out. I don't use the internal sequencer of the TB03. I sequence it all from the Deluge. Just because it's easier to manipulate and find out the songs, I don't have to worry about changing all this. So that's sending the MIDI out to there to sequence that. Obviously, with the way the TB03 works, doesn't have a dedicated MIDI through socket, but MIDI does pass through if you allow it. So the MIDI out of the TB03 is then going to the MIDI in of the Uno. So that means I can also control the Uno from the Deluge. Let's just show you that actually. Just banging a new song. So the way it works is MIDI channel 3, let's turn that up, is the TB03, which is making no sound. Let me work out why. Yes, I know why. Sorry, it's because I'll talk about this first and then I'll demonstrate how it works. So let's just do all the connections and I'll show you how it works. So yeah, where were we? MIDI out from the TB03 is going to the MIDI in of the Uno. And then the MIDI out from the Uno is going to the MIDI in of the SPDS. Don't quite know why. I can't remember why I did that. There was a reason, but I can't quite remember why for now. But anyway, not to worry. So I don't necessarily actually need that one plugged in, but it's plugged in anyway. The MIDI out from the SPDS is then going to the MIDI in on the Deluge, because that is playing samples and sounds from the Deluge, which again I will explain in more detail shortly. So that's the MIDI connections. In terms of audio, again it's kind of routing through each other, and this has eliminated the need for the little mixer that I used to take out with me in my previous setup. So the audio out, which is this cable here from the Uno, is going to the mix in of the TB03, and that audio will just pass through there. And then the output from the TB03, so that's basically going to be a combined signal of the audio from the Uno and the audio from the TB03, is going to the line in on the Deluge. And again, this is something that's going to, I think, change in the new update on the Deluge. It's going to make it easier to route audio through here. So the way, at the moment, you have to have it set up is this track here on the Uno is, I have the oscillator set to the in, left and right, and you have to kind of have a note playing constantly through that, and that will then kind of open up that line in, and the sound from these two will pass through here. So I've got independent audio level control on, or volume control I should say, on these two, passing them through the Deluge. So yeah, that's basically how that works. So if I just, I'm going to just get rid of that. So I'm just making sure none of these are playing. So the only downside with the setup of how it is at the moment, if you want to get the sound from the TB03 and the Uno, you have to have that track playing, okay? So that's kind of opening up like that. It kind of works the same way on the Electribe and other things where you put the audio through and you have to, that basically opens the gate, okay, to let the audio through. So if I now just go to a new MIDI track, and we'll get the keyboard up. So the TB03 is on MIDI channel 3, so if I set that to MIDI channel 3, okay, that's playing the TB03, and then the Uno is on MIDI channel 7, so if I go up to 7, that's playing the Uno. So let's just go through a few. Okay, so that means I can sequence either of these from my live set. Let me just get rid of those. Okay. So that's the audio connections, that's the MIDI connections sorted. So in terms of what I'm doing on the SPDS, the great thing with how the Deluge works is for each track it saves all its own MIDI routings and anything that you've learnt, etc, etc. So I don't need to change anything on here. I've just got it on the same, it's on just randomly on kit 54 in here, but I don't need to worry about changing that. Just need some drumsticks. So the first track I use that on is the second track in my set, which is called Everybody Get Up. And what I've got on here is just some drum sounds. I'm sorry the sound's not great, I'm just doing it out the speakers. It will sound better when I do the full performance, you'll kind of see it. So basically all I've done with this is, so this kit on the Deluge has the drum sounds on it, and all you do is, if I want to assign that pad, which is on that snare drum, you press Shift and Learn, you can see these will flash, and that's telling me that these sounds are mapped to sounds on here. So if I just actually, I'll delete that one. Okay, so that's now not playing. So all I would do is, if I want that to play from that pad, Shift, Learn, hold the pad down I want to send the MIDI message to, hit that, that now flashes, and then we've got the snare drum on there. Okay, so for this track, I'm basically just live drumming. Okay, which you will see when I do the full performance. And then all we've got on here, this is basically just a backing track, which I brought in as a long sample. So what I did on my original production was I took the drums out for what I'm going to be playing live. So this, if I just play this, okay, that will just play the song through in its original format without the hand claps and the snare and the stuff that I'm going to play on the top of there. I say, and that's just basically imported in as a long sample, and you just make it however many bars you need it in length to fit that in there. The first track in the set, I'm actually playing the Deluge sort of like a keyboard. Just turn it up again. So that's the performance aspect for that track. Again, the way the rest of it works is there's a TB03 line, which is on whatever track it's on. I'm not sure. That one. Okay, that's the TB03 line, which is actually an 8-bar loop. So again, on the Deluge, you've got no restriction on the length of bar. It's how much your memory can take. So we've got that on there. The second track that's what I'm playing, and then the third one down, again, that is in a similar way to the track I've just talked about. That's the backing track with the bits taken out that I play live. So that would just be. Okay, so that's just that track playing there. Just turn the TB03 down, so I then play over the top. So, okay, for that track. Third track in the set. Okay, it's called Just Be, a recent single of mine. What I'm doing on this one is I'm actually playing the bass line, but from the pads. So I've just assigned those notes to these pads. So in exactly the same way as I did with the MIDI learn, okay, we've got a crash in there as well. So again, you'll see that when I do the performance. Fourth track, this is a track I did called Infinite Loop, featuring a singer called MZ on vocals. For this one, I'm I kind of playing these, which is taken from the original production. So rather than like single one-shot kind of drum sounds, they're slightly longer kind of samply loop things, and I also play that I'm doing this. Okay, so that's happening on that track, and then the rest are kind of similar really. Next one is called Close Your Eyes, which is an unreleased track that's coming out a week today, 24th of May. So again, for that one, I'm playing the bass line for that on the pads. Next up, I do a couple of cover versions in my set. The first one is Killer by Adamski. This one's slightly different because what I'm doing on here is I'm actually launching sort of, if you want to put it in Ableton Live Speak, I'm launching scenes of these clips on here by hitting the pads on here. So this starts off like this, and then when I hit this pad, it will launch another scene and bring the bass in. Okay, it'll wait to cycle to the next bar. Okay, and then I'll talk about what I've got on here, and then I actually kind of do a slight remix of it. So I just put some TV in it, and then some. Okay, so if I want to go back just to the basic part of it, I'll hit that pad again. It'll launch the next scene. Okay, and we've also got this section, which is on this pad. Okay, and what I do with this one as well is I also play a lead line over the top on some pads like this. And then at the end of that track, I'm hitting this pad, which breaks it all down. And what I then do to kind of mix that into the next track, I've got the drum loop for the next track, which is actually a cover of High State of Consciousness by Josh Wink. So we launch that, and then when I launch the next track, that's just going to blend straight into that drum loop again. but it'll take the pads out. So I'm now onto the next track loaded on here. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, basically what I've got on here is I've programmed in all the different drum parts, really. That's my little 303 line. It's kind of like a little bit of a remix. These are just drum kits. Okay, and then each one of these is like a progression of that drum kit. It's like another scene in Ableton Live. So if I just launch that one. Okay, just go in the background. And then the next one down will have more drum elements in it. So if I launch this next one. Okay, we've got the pads on there. And the main bass line, I think, is that one. I need to make sure my gate is running, which is that one. Okay, so hopefully that sort of makes sense. That is mostly just stuff that I've programmed, and all the sounds from that are coming from the internal synth engine from the Deluge, apart from that drum loop that comes in at the end. The rest are all the internal sounds, all the drum kits, obviously with the 03, apart from the bass line, which is coming from the Uno. I was going to say something else, can't remember what it was. So next one is kind of works on the same sort of basis. This is my kind of version of High State of Consciousness by Josh Wing. So it starts with that drum loop, we've got the bass line, and then again, I've programmed the drum parts in. So for that track, everything is the internal synth engine from the Deluge, apart from the 303 line. Then next up, got a track called What You Think, which is another one of my original ones. So this one, we have, so I've got 303 line on here, which is programmed in, sending MIDI to the 303. This is on my separate kind of sections of the track, so I can launch, this is just like stems basically from the original track. So it starts with this kick drum and the cowbell, we've got the bass line, we've got a drum loop on this one, and then like a percussion one on that one, another synth lead on that one. And then this song kind of has this big build up in it, which is launched on one of these clips. So normally this is all playing like this. Okay, and then what I do is launch this one and stop this one. Okay, and that's going to come in at the end of this sequence cycle of 8 bars. And then we get this big build up thing. Then all I do is just relaunch those again. I've also got some samples on here.
What you think that we think is cool.
And then that will launch. So we're back on this one again. So yeah, I've got some samples on here. We've got the Hey and
what you think
the What You Think.
that we think is
I've
cool.
also used this pad to launch a scene in the middle of the track as well. And then the last track, there's actually another one I'm not going to talk about because it's pretty similar, is a remix I did. Again, all these are available on Spotify and any other digital media store. The next one is a track called Thank You by a band called Centre Excuse from Rutland, Leicestershire Way. This is a remix I did for them, which is this track actually. So this one's very similar to the first one I talked about, to Everybody Get Up. All I'm doing on this one is I'm live drumming. So I've got a hi-hat, got a crash, got a snare, clap, and then a boom sound, and then the backing track for that with the drums taken out is just playing all the way through on there. So that is basically how my live set works. In terms of them packing away, it's probably even quicker than setting up. It's just unplug, 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 bang the lid on, and you're away. Again, 5 minutes and it's done. So hopefully that kind of makes any sense. If you've got any questions or any bits don't make sense, then give me a shout. What I'm going to do next, then I will record my full live set. so you can kind of see how it all blends together and works as a single live set. And I hope you enjoy. And yeah, please share them around the videos. Like I say, if you've got any questions, suggestions for future videos, give me a shout in the comments. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell thing so you get notifications when my videos upload. I usually try and upload once a week on a Friday. And yeah, check my music out on Spotify. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.